So, healthy evening, friends.
Healthy evening.
Of course, I can also incidentally tell people that I have two eyes that is in my name. So, I can say that. So, it's a wonderful day because of two reasons. One, of course, I'm meeting lovely people because I am a lover of humanity. So, I love to make friends. That's my passion. I don't fake it out. So, when I meet people, I get inspired. Because all my life, I think the list is so big in terms of my being grateful to people. I think the list is getting expanded and it's getting wider and wider. So I'm happy that way that I'm able to really add a few more in the list in the name of all of you, right? In the form of all of you. And so that's one reason. Another reason is that I think Rotary is very special for me personally because Rotary clubs invite me frequently to inspire people. And please, that's even more important addition I'm going to add right now. They're all paid assignments. I'm very delighted for getting awards from Rotaries as well, like Youth Icon or Award of Excellence or Vocational Excellence, and you name it, any sort of awards that you've been giving in the name of Rotary. I think I've been the recipient of almost all of them. So I'm so happy to really inspire the Rotarians who are absolutely service-minded, who are absolutely selfless, with all their professional excellence. People from all walks of life are here, but you've all gathered under the umbrella of Rotary to inspire people through your service. That's a wonderful thing. And we need more people. I think more than ever before during the pandemic, it has made even more vivid that people should really start extending their hands beyond themselves to assist humanity. That's exactly the lesson that we should have learned, of course, apart from being health conscious and so on. This is an interesting lesson that we need to really go beyond ourselves to really extend our hands. All right, so I'm really delighted to share a few thoughts on the 3L principle that actually occupies the center of my life, which is live, love, and leave. I always call it a 3L principle. So I think live need not be defined, but it has to be defined these days, because I think the word live matters a lot right now. When you say live, some people define anything in two different ways. One, of course, to talk about what it is, and another way of defining is what it is not. So I would like to really start with what living is not. Living is not existing. Living is not mere existing. Maybe I would love to share an anecdote that happened during my college time, which made me conscious of this particular dichotomy between existing and living. During my undergraduation time at Loyola College, by the way, I have a very sweet news to share with you, that I did my undergraduation and post-graduation at Loyola College. During both the times, I emerged as the distinction holder and a gold medalist. So the net result was a couple of years ago, in 2019, I was given the Guiding Light Award of being chosen as the best outstanding student ever produced by Loyola College. The Loyola College alumni list is so huge and so multifaceted, I would say. You have police persons, you have entrepreneurs, you have cinema personalities, you have sports personalities. We have all kinds of people who have made difference in the lives of many people and who have become celebrities in their own sense. But they've chosen me for two reasons, of course, because of my academic excellence during that time of my studying period, and what I'm doing right now in terms of inspiring people. So I'm so gifted with that award. I've received several national and of course even international awards, state awards and so on. But this award is so special that I keep talking about it everywhere that I go. Wherever I go, I keep talking about it. So, alright, so when I was a student of Loyola College, as a first year student, I emerged from a Tamil medium background. I hope you know what I'm talking about. The medium of instruction all the time happened to be Tamil. And during that time, I had a passion, of course, during my middle school itself. I started developing a passion for my English language. And I think I fell in love, I should say. We've had several honeymoons. It still grew stronger and stronger. I'm talking about the honeymoon with the English language. Well, my spouse is here right now. So, I was ragged by a group of students for my persistence of speaking in English all the time. They wanted to put me down, put my spirits down rather. So they started gathering maybe almost 20, 30 people, and then there were other mute spectators around. So I was ranked as a first year student. They said they actually thought of sparing me for my being a visually challenged person, but my attitude made them really change their decision not to rank me at all. So they started throwing questions one after another, and at the end came the thunderbolt in the form of a question by a senior student who asked me as to my disability, pointing out at my so-called disability, and he said maybe it would be very difficult for me to persist further in life. So he asked me to contemplate on suicide. He asked me to contemplate on killing myself. So that was a kind of an unexpected shock. Really, it was a thunderbolt, because all the time people have been kind, people had been very helpful, and that was the first time I came across someone of that kind, being absolutely ruthless, being absolutely rude, and being absolutely unkind. I was really shocked, and somehow the confident, inspiring Ilango, that was Ilango at that time. So the confident Ilango came up, and after a moment of silence, probably a few tears started rolling down. I just shook the hands of the person who asked the question and said, I thought of killing myself, quote unquote, because I felt that I've been done injustice by nature by having been like this all the time for no fault of mine. In fact, it was a fault of my parents, because they married within these close relationships. That's what my doctors always concluded. So, but still, I thought I would persist. From today, I would give up the idea of killing myself. I would persist, and I would die only of natural death. I would not kill myself artificially at all. And I went on to adding the reason as, when people like him could exist, why can't I live? This came from a first year student, a first year boy who completed his 12th standard probably 6 months earlier. And that was a discovery within myself that I probably said something remarkable spontaneously. How could I say that? So there was a built in me all the time, and the built was actually instilled by my lovely mother. Actually, I keep telling people that despite all the challenges, she made me what I am right now. As you're looking at me right now, as you're appreciating me, I think whatever the awards that I've been receiving or I will receive in future, whatever degrees that I hold and probably I'll be holding in future, whatever appreciations that come my way, they all go to the feet of my mother, who's no more. But I think that's because she fought the odds of life, despite being not formally educated. She did the right thing in terms of raising up a special child like me. It was a double challenge for her to do that without the support of her husband. And I think, so I had that instilled by my mother. It was a wonderful thing. And that made me understand or ponder over the dichotomy between living and existing. Now, I'm sure all of you understand that the other species exist at least from our point of view. But we, from our point of view, tend to live life. And can somebody just give me at least one marked difference between the other species who actually exist and we who are supposed to live? Can you just give me at least one idea as to differentiating between these two interesting terminologies? Anybody? Because I want to make it interactive.
Human being can think and act.
Super, right. That's nice. Wonderful, wonderful. I think when I say wonderful, your hand should also speak along with me. Super. So we can think, and what do we think for? For the destruction of humanity, for the destruction of the universe, for the creation of pandemics like COVID-19. What do we think for? Okay. So thinking is a wonderful faculty, all right? Reasoning is another, which is a result of our thinking. I tend to modify it by a term called vision. So we have vision. At least we can have vision. I think the title of the cover page of my book, Jaipadanijam, says that I don't have eyesight, but I have vision. There's a huge difference between the two terminologies. Am I right? Yes. Sight is hugely different from vision. When you say vision, it implies one's ability to forecast one's future based on one's past and present. Whereas sight is just, of course, a physical capacity to see the world in front, and of course, your sight has limitations. Am I right? You just can't see from behind, can you? You can't see deeper. In the woods, for example, when you look at trees, for example, how deep can you just see? Maybe you need microscopes and other equipment to really penetrate beyond. You can't do that with your naked eyes, can you? Absolutely. So your eyes, in fact, some of the species can see better than humans, correct? Yes. Some of the animals have better eyesight, probably more powerful eyesight than humans for that matter. So vision is a unique phenomenon that could be attached only to the human species, am I right? So we could think clearly. And another thing, what vision? Vision for ourselves, all right. Vision for people around us, all right. There is a family and kith and kin and so on, all right. But beyond that, vision for people who are not related to us, people who don't really meet us, people who are unconnected completely. I don't prefer to call them strangers. In fact, I have a new way of defining strangers. Who are strangers? Anybody?
Future friends.
That's a wonderful term. I like it. I like it. I like it. All right. So I say strangers are undiscovered friends. I think with that attitude, if you approach even a terrorist, life will be in less danger. All right. So I think humans can have vision for the society, for the universe, even for the other species apart from themselves, even for the inanimate things. All right. I have my personal vision clearly defined. I have my family vision clearly defined, and so is my social vision. So here comes the aspect of the second L, which is love. I love people unconditionally. Please mark my words. Unconditionally. The adverb matters a lot. Most of the times, thanks for the reference to Mr. Kanesan in terms of my saving 52 lives during the pandemic scenario. That was not a very good news to share anyway, because I know that a lot of unreported suicides also happen. Do you know that? A lot of unreported suicides which had not drawn the attention of the media happened, unfortunately. And I found out due to, of course, based on my experience, due to relationship crisis and due to financial stress, people mostly decide this particular unfortunate decision, correct? So, for relationship challenges, I could offer solutions, honestly. Although I'm not a qualified psychiatrist or something, I know psychology, human psychology, and more than that, I know life. So I could talk to people based on, see, I always tell people when they grumble, when they complain, when they crib about what they don't have. I tell them, when they talk about complaining, maybe aspects related to their spouse or children or parents and friends and bosses and colleagues and subordinates and so on, I keep telling them that whatever odds they have in life, whatever tragic events that have happened in their lives, when they present them, they would seem little in front of mine. Because I had gone through worse scenario. I had gone through terrible hot waters. I sailed through them very, very painfully, very sadly. But now I could share them as nostalgic moments right now. So it was all about emotional management. That's a term the world is catching up right now. Emotional management is something that needs to be made conscious of by the corporate world, by the governments, by the individuals, and by all the other institutions who handle people. When you say people management, when you say team skills, when you say time management, when you say whatever that you talk about, motivation, okay, that's a wonderful key word. People always keep talking about motivation. When you talk about any other aspects which you think result these crises or create this crisis situations or stifle between people, strife between people, I think emotional management is a key word. If one is conscious of, I'm sure the self-management and relationship management will become a cakewalk. That's what has been happening in my life too. So I speak about love with a lot of conviction because I practice it. I don't really preach anything which I don't practice. Here I go. I love my people unconditionally. To start with, my spouse is here. She can vouch for that. We fight every day. Believe me. You can also relate to that, can't you? So, so you can empathize with that as well. Maybe some of the needs to be sympathized as well, I suppose. So, but we have misunderstandings. We do quarrel, all right? Our quarrels don't last for half hour, more than half hour. We believe that we have a determination, we have resolved to be together until our ends. That resolution actually drives us to be like this all the time. All the other misunderstandings don't surpass this particular resolution, this particular determination that we had even before we got formally united in the name of marriage. So, what is required is the determination or resolution to stay steadfast. Not only in marital relationship, in all the relationships, wherever human beings' relationships are involved, I think determination speaks a lot. I think determination matters a lot. Resolution matters a lot. When you want to talk about the official situation, the question is whether you need to hire the person or fire the person. Whether you need to continue or discontinue forever. So that clarity, that's what I call vision. In the first portion of my talk, I said vision. Vision actually means clarity. You're very clear with whatever that happens, or whatever that does not happen also. Not only whatever that happens, but also whatever that does not happen. I think you're quite clear on life as such, the life journey as such. Right, so I love my people, including my spouse. My son is here. By the way, let me share the good news. My son, Aarvan, Vetri, Ilango. Yes, Aarvan, Vetri, Ilango. My wife will be annoyed because that's her initial, by the way. I've given his mother's initial as his first, what do you say, the first letter. So it's an innovative way of doing things, all right? So I've been preaching women empowerment. So I thought probably charity begins at home, all right? So I should start with that. So, yes, Aarvan, Vetri, Ilango has created a world record which has been recognized by 2 books of world records. Now, Guinness is also in the process. Very soon, you will get the certification. And the record being, he managed to play and sing simultaneously, of course on the keyboard, and sing simultaneously, 72 Melakarta ragas. 72 by itself is a big number for a kid like him, considering his age. So he remembered all the 72 ragas and then played them, the ascending and descending, that is Arohanam and Avarohanam, continuously 1 to 72, plus he played the basics of Sarali Varisai or and Jante Varisai and a long stretch of Jante Malay, which is very, very challenging even for adults, grown-ups. So he did that, and that was recognized as a world record. At this age, he can do that. And very soon, of course, some of you might have seen him already on social media. In fact, my spouse keeps getting calls from media persons, and when she picks up calls and when she hears the names of any media, she would assume that probably it was for me. Then she would be shocked to know that, no ma'am, we want baby, so you don't want the baby's father. Even Tandai, Innotran Kollenum, Sol. Tandai Magan Kachu, I think he's doing that right now. And one more thing, Indru Purattal, Ethalai Kadane, Sandro Nakadal, Tandai Kadane. I think he's become young Sandro right now. So, no, I'm just saying all that to inspire all of you that even a boy of this kind can be inspired if the environment is positively created, correct? If the ambience is wonderfully created, correct? If the facilitation happened nicely for his particular evolution, correct? He's getting evolved right now. So the evolution process is getting facilitated by me and of course his mother, very consciously. So we have challenges because he's been homeschooled all the time. And we have been consciously doing that. Homeschooling is very challenging, believe me. Even sending children to school itself is challenging. And during the pandemic scenario, I think now people are returning to school. There's a lot of complaint basically. Most of them don't want to go to schools. Some of them express their interest to go to school because of being bored at home. But the moment the idea came nearer and nearer, people started agitating. Pupils started agitating. And the parents started feeling a little sense of relief, I suppose. So we've been homeschooling this boy because of my particular idea of preaching what I practice. And what do I preach in this connection? I tell people not to send children to school before 5. Because that's a time for a child to be a child. Right? To be a baby, boy or girl or whatever. So the child has to enjoy the childhood days. And the parents have to be absolutely devoted to make sure that particular environment is created for the child to be the child. So we have been doing that in the name of homeschooling, and we have challenges, no doubt, to find teachers and to find right teachers to do the right things. And maybe very soon you'll also get to see this boy on Sun TV talking about Maestro Ilayaraja. How about that? So I think he's going to sing and play Ilayaraja's compositions. What do you mean? So probably I started getting introduced to my harmonium during my 7th standard. Now he's hardly 7, he's introduced to keyboards. So that's the whole idea of how generations get evolved. And love my family, all right? But I have something else. I love everyone unconditionally, honestly speaking. There may be ditchers, there may be people who have foul intentions or ulterior motives. I don't care, because I should be as I am. I should be as I design myself to be. I shouldn't be influenced by the so-called bad influences, correct? So people may come and people may go, but my attitude remains all the time, forever. What do you say? So until my end, my attitude of loving people unconditionally, smiling at people genuinely, not from the lips, but from my heart. I think that remains all the time. So love is a wonderful key word that should actually be the only force, that is the only force right now, which could unite all the people, irrespective of the national, international divisions that we have come across right now. Some time back, we started hating the Chinese, am I right? Some time back, we started talking ill of the Pakistanis. Some time back, we started talking ill of the Americans for some time, I suppose. So the Americans would talk ill of everybody. That's a different issue. So they terribly suffer from a kind of a psychosis. They do all types of unwanted world policing everywhere. And they do at their convenience whatever that is required. All right, so I believe in spreading love. So I am an ambassador, self-nominated ambassador of love. What do you say? I'm a self-nominated ambassador of unconditional love. I believe in taking this message, taking this wonderful word, magical word, everywhere, especially to the youngsters right now. So I've been doing that very successfully through my videos, through my live interactions, and every year I have the fortune of inspiring at least a minimum of 50,000 young people studying in school. And my social media presence would tell you that, basically, in terms of how people appreciate me and so on. And the important last word, leave your legacy. Of course, I don't need to expand that further, it's self-explanatory, all right? But how many of us consciously operate based on this particular word, that you want to leave your legacy? Every action of mine, for example, pertains to meeting up this particular target of leaving my legacy. I want to leave my legacy all the time. And how do I do that? And what exactly do I have in terms of specifics in terms of leaving my legacy? How do I leave my legacy? Believe me, gentlemen, I have designed my vision very clearly. Maybe about a few years ago, I made it very specifically clear that after my death, say 500 years from then, 1,000 years from then, people sitting anywhere in the globe, Googling the word inspiration or motivation or proactiveness should find my name as well. What do you say? Now, I would not be there to even witness that. I would not be there to receive anything substantially. But still, that is the kind of a presence that I would like to leave even after my leaving. So, I would like to be present even after my being absent. What do you say? So, that is a target that I'm working at all the time. Whatever that is, whether I sing in recordings, whether I speak for voiceovers. By the way, voiceover as a profile was read wonderfully, thanks to the excellent, kind-hearted Kanesan. I asked him why he named it as Kanesan. He said probably for numerology or whatever, I think. But anyway, it was very different because I thought probably generally, even if it is Ganeshan, we tend to write in Tamil Kanesan only, correct? Can we write Ganesan? No. I think so. All right. So the idea of my specific target all the time, whether I speak voiceovers, I was speaking about voiceover. You would have heard my voice with several popular commercials, advertisements, like you can lend me yours right now because the mic is not there. The sound man is still not there. The sound man is still silent.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the oxymoron. All right. Raymond, the mark of a complete man. That's my voice. I can. Okay.
That's your son.
That's your son.
No, that's my Siri.
Oh.
That's my Siri through my son.
Okay.
Because Sri is not handling him. So that's Srilatha I'm talking about. So I say I have two Stris in my life. One is Sri and another one is Siri. The second one is more maybe useful. No, I would say more functionally useful on a daily basis. Assisting me and so on. So I use my iPhone. I'm referring to Siri's assistance. Right? So Prince Jewelry, Honorable Park, Chennai. You would have heard that on DTS.
Yes.
When you go to Satyam's and many other theatres. That's my voice. Maybe that's also my voice. Of course, if you're a diabetic, you don't like it. That's it. So I have a unique record of being the only visually challenged voice artist in the whole world. So, and I hold a couple of other world records in scuba diving as the deepest ocean diver, and I'm going to break my own record probably this January, that is in 2022, by going as deep as 100 meters inside the sea, touching the bottom of the sea, and then remaining there for some time and coming up on my own completely, and then breaking my own paragliding record by crossing the 5,000 feet high limits that I said. And maybe I should do it on my own completely this time too, as I did it last time in 2018, February 2nd. So I'm going to break my own record by flying higher than that. I think diving into the sea or flying high with my paragliding apparatus, all these didn't seem very challenging because I dare to swim in life itself. I dare to fly in life itself. The life ocean is more challenging. The life ocean is much more challenging than the actual real ocean. And the life space is more ominous and threatening than even the real space. So I believe in leaving my legacy in the form of my thoughts, right? My words, all right, because my speeches are recorded, my videos are there, all right. My actions, more important than the two, because my writings are there, but my actions, what do you mean by actions? By expressing myself more vividly, or in other words, translating my ideas, thoughts, and words into actions. So the result was in 2019, at the end of 2019, I founded an NGO called Vision Inspiring Ilango Foundation, VIIF. This Vision Inspiring Ilango Foundation handles all human activities, all right. But right now, as pointed out, I have two major projects that have been going on, all right. One, of course, for the general public, prevention of suicide, because I thought that is something that needs to be given the topmost attention. Many people haven't committed suicide, but they have the tendencies, correct? So some people are dead when they live, right? When they exist, they're living dead. So some people, I think, die almost every day. Some people are dead in the presence of their spouses. Some people are dead in the presence of their bosses or subordinates. So I think I'm referring to the real death. So one is suicide prevention. The other one, of course, is empowering the visually challenged like me. I'm glad that you're doing a tremendous work, even maybe for organizations like Netrodaya. I know Govinda Krishnan very well. He's my admirer too, and that's a good thing that you're doing. And please continue to do that and include Vision Inspiring Ilango in your list, please. That's an appeal. So, Vision Inspiring Ilango empowers the visually challenged in a very different way. Different in the sense, in terms of need, it is different. Right now, I always, as a person emerging with the same background, believe that independence matters for any challenged person, any physically challenged person. Independence matters. Operating on his or her own matters a lot. And how do we do that? Right now, technology becomes inevitable. So, I am very comfortable with my iPhone, with my computers. Now, you name anything in my iPhone, I can do that. Any iPhone users here?
Yeah. Any.
Okay, I can teach you a thing or two. I challenge in the usage of iPhone. I can challenge you. When we have personal interactions, I'll make it crystal clear. So, it's become so comfortable. Believe it or not, only since 2017 middle, I started using my iPhone. Before that, it was all Nokia N95. So it was a kind of a glass piece that was given to me. Nothing was, no buttons whatsoever. I said, how to dial? Yeah, you have to dial. I know, but how to dial? Where's the dial? Where are the dial buttons? No buttons. It's not a button phone. Come on, you're outdated. Okay, so I need to become updated. And how do I get updated? So I started exploring things on my own. I took a week's time with my lovely phone without knowing anything at all. Believe it or not, at the end of the first week, I mastered at least 80% of the operations of the iPhone. on my own completely. I explored on my own. The reason is that I dare to make mistakes. You want me to walk something, I get dashed. Okay. So what? Okay, I'll go again. Okay, this way. Right? Oh, there's nothing. So I can walk comfortably. Yes. I can come back here, stand here, right? Not a problem at all. So I dare to be adventurous. My scuba diving record, my paragliding records are the testimonies. So I don't mind falling down. What do you say? In fact, I love to fall down. Because when I fall down, I can rise comfortably. I become a different person altogether. My confidence is 10 times higher when I rise, correct? So people who have not fallen down will be shocked for their life when they fall for the first time, right? So I dare to fall down. I dare to make mistakes. I dare to admit that I'm stupid at times. I think who is not stupid in life? Life fools us a lot of times, right? Life, nature fools us. It has fooled us this time in the name of rain spells. The entire humanity, the entire administration became absolutely, chaotic. But they handled it well, very well, right now this time, at least, by proactively doing certain things nicely. But all the more, we were baffled, weren't we? We didn't know what to do. So the smart city became unsmart city. And so many other mishaps happened. So we should have open mind to face and to be prepared to fall down. And I have that preparedness. I have the willingness. I have that open-mindedness all the time. So I always believe that this Vision Inspiring Ilango Foundation would be there even in my absence. I think it would still carry on the activity. All right, so what do I do with my mobile phone expertise is that I train these fellow humans from my kind, and I make them independent by operating things. See, whatever you name it, whether it is a travel related app or whether it is maybe a food related or one purchase related one, whether it is a learning app or whatever you name it, or utility oriented app or whatever you name it. I think if people are trained, they'll be more independent. They need not depend on people. Whether it's an Android phone or an iPhone. iPhone is slightly expensive, but tomatoes are more expensive nowadays, I suppose, than the iPhones. So tomatoes and petrol and diesel are more expensive than iPhones, I suppose now. So, okay, so what I want is Vision Inspiring Ilango Foundation's work. I think whatever that I've done so far always ended up as a record. Even Vision Inspiring Ilango Foundation has a record. It has not been published though, but I know that by the government standards, it was an impeccable record. And what is that record? We managed to get the ATG exemption certificate just hardly about a month or two after the installation, after the registration of the NGO. I think it's a groundbreaking achievement, because generally for an NGO to obtain ATG exemption from the income tax department, they take at least a year or two, right? They want the body to be there for a year or two in order to grant it. But I managed to get it because of my interview with the Commissioner of Exemption. And I think the result is that the Commissioner of Exemption has become a family now, extended family member right now. So whoever comes into our life would always go to the next step as extended family members. They'd be called as mamas or annas or whatever relationships that you can think of. Aarvan calls people like that all the time. I teach him. Some people don't prefer to be called tata even at their age. So they're called mamas, they're happy. So depending on that. So that's all about leaving my legacy. I'm very sure I'm doing everything pertaining to that, including the Vision Inspiring Ilango Foundation's activities. Now, because of COVID-19 scenario, it did not really take off as I planned. Believe it or not, I said record, right? Another record was also created. I wanted to do a fundraiser by singing Maestro Ilayaraja's songs. Basically, I'm a professional singer, so I wanted a perfect live band to perform Ilayaraja's songs and have tickets so that funds would go to Vision Inspiring Inspiringilango Foundation as charity. Now, I wanted to organize that, but there were some issues at that time, boiling issues in fact, between Maestro and the late SPP, correct?
Yes.
There were some issues. So there were a lot of warnings about royalties and so on. So what I did was, I wanted to crack it out. So I approached the Maestro himself, and believe it or not, he has given me a written confirmation to go ahead and use his songs. So probably for an individual, probably ours is the only one, or I am the only one to have been granted from his side no objection and go ahead a green signal certificate or written permission. So we wanted to do that. Loyola College was willing to give place, my place anyway. It's my second home. So they wanted to give the place. The principal is still my admirer, but COVID-19 happened exactly in the month of March. So we couldn't do anything. After that, the rest is a sad history. So for about almost a year and a half, nothing happened. So now we are getting geared up, and we are getting geared up with all your hands put together, with your hearts put together, correct? So we'll start doing things, and I want you to proactively encourage us with your support, with your unconditional love, and with your, if possible, personal involvement. What do you say?
Yes.
Can I be assured?
Sure.
The president is here.
Yes.
Okay, he's given a word, and he's not a politician to violate his word. So I think he will stick to his word. And moreover, he's a Rotarian.
Yes.
Rotarian will never rotate from his word. What do you say? Right? Yeah. So I want to end here and probably go on to the question and answer if time permits. Our dinner presses, we can go ahead. I can hear the sound. We can not only hear the sound. Okay, I can feel the other senses are active. There is a theory that if people don't have a particular faculty, deprived of a particular faculty, the other senses tend to be sharper. Am I right? Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
It's not true. So it is not true, because I know there are some not so bright visually challenged people who may not be able to differentiate sounds properly. I know certain people who can see like you, all of you who are sighted, yet they are very minute and accurate in terms of distinguishing sounds because they're sound engineers. Russell Pukuti, for example, if you drop anything, you will just say, oh, that is a safety pin which is of about 3 inches. He'll say that, honestly. He'll say, no, that's not a safety pin, that's a needle that fell down, he would say. Just by hearing the sound. And he can see. He's not visually challenged. And there are a lot of people like that. I know, I have worked with so many wonderful sound engineers, audio engineers, as they should be called actually. Audio sculptures, as I always call them audio sculptors. And recently I worked for a movie called My Own. It is going to be released very soon. And I gave my voice for the audio description. That is also going to be another record right now. A movie coming up with audio description, which is rendered by a visually challenged person. That is myself here, right? So, for the benefit of the visually challenged people, I have done this. They have taken the effort. My friend Arun Manikkam, the producer, was actually benevolent enough, kind enough. He was basically thinking beyond his professionalism, and then he enacted this particular idea. And my voice could be instrumental. My voice could be used, and I was very happy to have done that. I'm going to speak for the main movie also very soon, before it releases. So, if you have something to ask me, I'm your slave. If you don't have anything to ask me, I'm the slave of my son.
What we would do is during dinner meeting, we would have the interactive session with them. So
We'll have an
want of
interactive
time-
dinner.
Yeah, that will be better. Because want of time, like we'll move on to that session.
I know. We'll have interacted because you all came probably some of you might have emerged as interactors. Rotaract and interactor.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Good to have interactors. So, I love you all unconditionally. Please support my Vision Inspiring Ilango Foundation. Keep watching IITV, IITV, which is Inspiring Ilango TV, that is, on YouTube. You have all the videos. Whenever you feel a little low, which you shouldn't anyway, but you tend to feel all the time, because if you don't feel low, so you're not a human. I think even the President of the United States or CEO of Microsoft company or any big company would also go through all sorts of low moments anyway. So during that time, especially during that time, but otherwise every day, keep watching IITV, keep subscribing IITV. You can take your phones right now and go to the YouTube and subscribe IITV. I'm not promoting my channel, I have a good number of subscribers already, but I think I want us to be connected. That's my intention. I want us to stay connected through the social media, which is a boon right now, which actually is a double-edged sword right now, because a lot of bad things have been happening, a lot of negativity has been happening, no doubt. But I am one of those who believe in spreading only positivity through social media. So you can watch my videos, you can make your children, you can make your spouses, you can make your people who are absent today from your family, friend circle. Please do spread IITV. Please do spread the social media of Inspiring Ilango, so that we'll create a different harmonious universe. What do you say?
Yes.
We jointly do that, and it's not one man's effort. It's not a team effort. It's team's effort put together. TEAMS apostrophe effort put together. So we will create a greater world, a sweeter world, and a more accommodative world for everybody. Thank you very much. I love you all.